you're here for the first time, please consider subscribing to this channel. Also hit the notification bell so that whenever you upload a new video, you are notified. In today's video, we'll be talking about Addisababa makeover. This is an urban renewal program where we have high-rise homes and also look at the human cost of this project. Addisababa is changing at a pace few African capitals have matched in the recent years, where tightly packed, low-rise neighborhoods and corrugated iron compounds once threaded the inner city. New apartment blocks, modern office buildings, and wide green streets are taking shape across the city. The city administration calls it modernization. Critics call it demolition and displacement. Here, we trace the project's origin, how it has been carried out, who pays for it, what it has achieved, and the very real social and human rights problem that has accompanied the transformation. We compare it, where useful, with Kenya's approach to slum upgrading and point to practical lessons both countries might find useful. How did it begin? The genesis and the stated justification. Ethiopia's modern urban renewal traces back more than a decade, but it accelerated markedly under recent city and federal leadership, framed as a response to two basic challenges. One, chronic housing deficit and inner city landscape, judged incompatible with the modern capital. The government rolled out large housing programs, a corridor renewal scheme designed to clear dense, dilapidated housing and replace it with high-density, serviced apartment blocks and upgraded transport corridors. Officials argue the move addresses an urgent housing shortage to improve sanitation and utilities, as well as upgrades the city's economic competitiveness as host to continental institutions and international investment. Public information and official programs descriptions describe hundreds of thousands of condominiums units delivered nationally under the integrated housing development or delivery programs. Roughly half of that output is concentrated in the city of Addis Ababa. How has it been carried out in terms of corridors, condominiums, and makeover approach? Implementation has two feasible strands. First, a housing delivery program. The build and sell condominiums that offer subsidized units to low and middle income households that are now ubiquitous part of this Addis Ababa skyline. Official and development partner reporting places the total number of formal condominiums units built nationally in low hundreds of thousands. The commonly cited figure is about 208,000 units between 2005 and 2020s, many concentrated in Addis Ababa. These apartments include piped water, sewer connection, and durable finishes that many older neighborhoods lacked. Second, we have the Corridor Development Project, CDP, a city-led modernization program to widen and upgrade key routes, build commercial precincts, public spaces, and new housing blocks such as Kazanchis, parts of Lideta, and Arada, among areas frequently mentioned. These are among the areas which have been frequently mentioned. Some projects involve public-private partnership, where private developers construct mixed-use blocks and some proportion of unit space are allocated to public housing or government use. Other projects are directly executed by the city and financed from municipal and federal sources. The city presents the corridor works as an integrated urban planning, roads, utilities, public service, and housing delivered all together. Let's now move to financing. How the works are being paid for. Financing is mixed. The Addis Ababa housing program has been financed through a combination of private investment, city and federal budgets, internally generated municipal revenues, and developer financing, where PPP models are being used. Some projects rely on cross-subsidy models, private development of commercial real estate, helps finance social housing components and other components. International partners, technical agencies, and development finance occasionally co-finance studies or support infrastructure components, but a great deal of capital has come from domestic public allocation and government-linked finance. Reporting of a major Addisababa program reference allocation running into tens of billions of bar in allocated capital for demolitions, relocation, and new construction, a scale that makes urban renewal a major fiscal commitment for the city. What has it achieved? Success that can be measured. There are tangible improvements. Where new condominiums as the service blocks have been completed, residents gain piped water, proper sanitation, stronger structural quality, and formal land tenure records. New corridors reduce traffic bottlenecks in some sectors and create modern office and hotel space that cities use to attract investment. The scale of housing production, again, some 200,000 formal units nationally, is a serious supply response where many analysts were calling for mass action on affordable housing. For many observers, this new skyline signals a city taking its role as an international or continental capital seriously. What are the costs and failures? What has gone wrong? This is where the story darkens. Independent human rights investigation and reporting show that the corridor and clearance approach produced significant forced evictions, inadequate consultation, and social dislocation. One, forced eviction. Amnesty International and other monitors documented feasible clearance associated with the corridor development project in 2024 and 2025, including large-scale removal of informal structures in parts of Addis Ababa and other cities, sometimes with little or no effective remedy, insufficient notice, as well as inadequate compensation. Amnesty International called for pause on this program pending full human rights impact assessment and remedies for those evicted. Satellite imageries and field interviews collaborated large-scale structural clearing in several sub-cities. Then we have displacement and affordability. Many inner-city residents who lost homes ended up relocated to peripheral areas or left in limbo. The new units, which were formerly low cost relative to high-end real estate, are frequently unaffordable for the poorest households or allocated through administrative systems that exclude some original residents. So the social benefits is uneven. Academic and civil society analysis have reportedly warned that demolitions without inclusive rehousing plans risk creating peripheral poverty and breaking social networks essential to livelihoods. Then there is cultural and heritage loss, where critics note that the bulldozing of older inner city quarters erodes intangible cultural landscapes and small-scale businesses that give the city character. Opinion pieces and reporting called for some participatory planning to protect heritage and local living patterns. Let's now compare these with Addis Ababa versus Nairobi approach to slum upgrading. Kenya and Ethiopia share the problem of large informal settlement, but their approach differ in emphasis as well as execution. Addis Ababa has often pursued a sweep and replace model, clearance of the dense inner city settlement combined with apartment construction and corridor upgrading. This approach can produce rapid, visible changes, new buildings, boulevards, and serviced apartments, but has raised acute concern about eviction, participation, and affordability. Nairobi that is Kenya, has historically emphasized incremental slum upgrading alongside targeted public housing pilots. The Kenya Slum Upgrading Program, KENSAP, and more recent Affordable Housing or Boma Yangu programs combined planned upgrading, resettlement site, and staged rehousing with mixed success. Recent Kenya schemes such as Boma Yangu, Kibera projects are attempting to deliver blocks of units or close to slums areas. These projects emphasize participatory decanting sites and at least publicly seek to avoid mass forced eviction. This program is older and more incremental, UN Habitat supported, and also designed to upgrade services and tenure in situ where possible. Although there has been cases where Kenya feel that they have been forced to contribute to this program through being charged a levy that has taken a toll in people's income. Now, noting the key differences, Addis Ababa favors wholesale development at scale. Kenya has leaned more on phased upgrading, community participation, at least in record, and donor-supported pilots. Each approach has trade-off. Addis Ababa achieves a scale but risks social exclusion. Nairobi's slower model limits displacement in some cases, but it's often criticized for being too slow to meet massive demand, and also has been criticized for being opaque. Financing comparison and financial risk. Kenya Affordable Housing Program mixes government facilitation, direct building through state entities, private developer involvement, and mortgage subsidy arrangement for buyers, and also contribution of citizens through a tax which is called housing levy, which has been unpopular in the country. This model also uses public funding and private partnership, but Ethiopian approach has relied heavily on municipal and federal budgetary allocation, as well as administrative land reallocation, putting physical and political risk on the state. In both countries, large-scale development is expensive. If tolls, user payment, and sales underperform, the government faces contingent liabilities. Transparent, conservative financial modeling and safeguards are therefore important, and both cities have room to improve in public transparency on long-term physical commitments. What are lessons for Kenya as well as other cities in Africa? 1. Scales need safeguards. If you want rapid housing output, combine it with robust safeguards, clear documented compensation, independent grievance mechanism, legal aid, and time-bound the housing commitment. Addis Ababa experience shows the cost of moving too fast without this protection. Number 2, there is prioritize in situ upgrading where possible. Preserving residents' proximity to jobs and service matters. Kenya incremental urban upgrading program pilots show how staged upgrading can protect livelihoods, though they need scale to be transformative. Third, we have transparency and participation. Meaningful community consultation reduces resistance, improves allocation fairness, and preserves local economies. Civil society and press warnings about Addis Ababa approach underline the political and social value for participation. And then fourth, we have financial realism and disclosure. Large housing outputs must be backed by transparent financing plans and contingency measures so that state budgets are not left with hidden liabilities. Both Addis Ababa and Nairobi need stronger public disclosures of long-term physical impact. What are the known problems and what has not been resolved? We have quantifying displacement. Amnesty and other reports document evictions in a number of localities, and note underreporting is likely. Exact total of displaced persons and the long-term outcome for relocated households remain contested and incompletely recorded in public documents. The gap is significant when judging social success. Then we have affordability versus availability. Building unit is not the same as delivering genuinely affordable housing. Evidence suggests some original residents cannot afford new units or are excluded by allocation rules. This weekend claims that programs reduces vulnerability at scale. Then we have heritage and local livelihoods, where the loss of informal markets and small-scale businesses in cleared inner-city areas creates economic dislocation that is difficult to quantify, but real in human impact. In conclusion, we can say that Addis Ababa urban renewal is neither mere vanity nor unalloyed success. It is an ambitious and partly successful attempt to remedy decades of inadequate housing and aging infrastructure, one that delivered hundreds of thousands of formal units, modern utilities, and urban corridors. But its rapid top-down implementation has produced serious social cost, forced evictions, contested compensation, loss of livelihoods, and questions about affordability. Nairobi's slower, more participatory upgrading models offers lessons in protecting residents' livelihoods, even if it struggles to match Addisababa scale. The policy trade-off is stark: move fast and risk social fracture, or move incrementally and risk insufficient scale. The real test for both capitals is whether urban renewal ultimately improves the lives of the poorest residents, not just the skyline. For that to happen, Addis Ababa and Nairobi must pair construction with clear compensation, enforceable housing guarantee, transparent financing, and genuine local participation. Only then will modernization mean a better life for the city's most vulnerable population, not just a prettier capital for visitors. So thank you for reaching this far. If this is your first time here, please subscribe to this channel. Also hit the notification bell so that whenever you upload a new video, you'll be notified. You can also leave your comment and your thoughts about this urban renewable project and the comparison that we have made between Addis Ababa and Nairobi. Thank you.